Good evening, beautiful people. Welcome to my humble abode, the Christmas zone, and ho ho ho, my shirt is a Die Hard shirt, and Die Hard is a Christmas movie. And without further ado, the man to my left this evening, the wonderful Charles McLaughlin.
Hi, Barry.
Hello, Charlie. Charlie, you answered the bat signal tonight, and with other men running kids' discos and entertaining in-laws, the call was put out, and Charlie, you have answered. And yet again, we've got a Friday show, and we've got a United and a Liverpool representative. So it's just the perfect concoction. And Charlie, it's been a big old week of stories, and it's been a topsy-turvy one. And I do recall speaking with Daniel about what would lie on the other side of Inter Milan. Had a few more poor results come our way, but here we sit. Another win in the San Siro later, and really starting to stem the flow, stop the blood flow with 4 undefeated. Not going to at all heap piles of praise on anybody with a win away to West Ham, a draw at home to Sunderland, a draw away at Elland Road, and quite a good smash and grab in the San Siro. So one of them weeks that it's really hard to dismiss. It's really hard to overlook the whole charade that came from this guy. So I would like Charlie, yourself, to lead the conversation here and pose whatever question you want me to answer regarding the situation, and we'll take it from there.
Yeah, no problem. So, my first question to you is it any coincidence that the 4 matches that you refer to undefeated, Salah hasn't started any of them?
It was probably something that I was looking to happen. So don't always get what I expect. So modicum of surprise attached to it. Yeah.
So the reason I ask that, right? So I've watched a lot of football. I've watched Liverpool quite a bit. I felt Salah is a maverick player. That's the way I would describe Salah. He's a maverick player. He's a game-winning player. But he was always a game-winning player in Liverpool, that the team was very much built around him to succeed. And once you took him out of that team, or once you took that team out of the same sink that it was there, and what I mean by that is you had a good midfielder behind him to cover the right-hand side, to protect the right back. You had Trent, who was probably the best playmaking right back in world football at that time, able to release Salah. And you've taken both them things that help Salah along away. And I find potentially what you're left with is a maverick player that's never going to track back. You're carrying him, and you were always carrying him, but you were carrying him in the sense that, well, he's going to score a goal or he's going to provide an assist, so at least we're carrying him for a reason. And what's changed this season is the numbers, the output's not there. You're still carrying him, but now the payoff's not there. And whether that's to do with the shape of the team, whether that's to do with the attitude of the player, or that's to do with the fact that you did go and hand a 33-year-old a 2-year contract last year when the rules at elite clubs is 1 year for players over a certain vintage. All them's valid questions. And I would like to ask you, being a Liverpool fan and seeing Liverpool's unexpectedly struggle this year, like we didn't expect this, nobody expected this. Is Salah going forward part of the solution or part of the problem?
It's a really difficult question to answer where we sit this evening. So this evening we understand Salah's back involved for the Brighton game, and there's been a handshake of respect between the coach and Mo Salah. So in terms of the solution, that's impossible to answer because he's about to disappear on Monday and he's heading to Morocco and he's gone for a minimum of 30 days. So he's going to come back into a situation where Liverpool are firmly in a system that we're probably getting the best out of Alexander Isak, Hugo Ekitike, and Florian Wirtz. And we all know that's the future of the club. We know we have Mo Salah nailed down till 2027. My preference would be to keep Mohamed Salah, and my preference would be to work on a system that still gets the best out of him. Yeah, if we can't accommodate a passenger in the team, it's going to have to be a philosophy change, and it's going to have to be a different type of player, more facilitator, more creator than goal getter. Wave goodbye to any attempt to try and catch Roger Hunt. Wave goodbye to any chance of catching Wayne Rooney. Lots of things. So in many ways, look, this thing was sort of a real smack in the mouth. It was like a real gut punch where we're having a really poor run and then the star player wants to throw the proverbial toys out of the pram. And a couple of things I agree with him. I agree with him in a huge sense that, yes, he's the greatest factor in Liverpool's success. And he certainly wouldn't agree with lifting that wage and not playing. I think it's just a moral high ground that he sort of assumes. He's still a decent human being at the end of the day. But a few of the things were being chucked under the bus. No, mate, you've been left on the bench for a week and no relationship with Arne Slot. I gotta say, a guy that's got to be able to pick and drop players, he sort of has to be a bit standoffish at times. And I mean, when maybe it's a really, really difficult conversation to tell the talisman that you're not playing.
Yeah. So just about that point you're saying there about no relationship with Slot. From the outside looking in, that's really surprising. And the reason I say that is because Arne Slot got the best season out of Mo Salah out of anybody last year. Goals and assists. His output was probably bigger than that first season he came in. I think it probably was, or very, very close to it. And to turn around then, so he he's essentially saying, well, it was all me, it wasn't Slot. And like important players, big players with big egos, but he's kicking the club when they're down. He's, as you say, told them twice out of the pram, sticking the knife into a struggling manager. And I've mentioned it before. It reeks of Ronaldo the second time at United. But Salah's probably a bigger legend for Liverpool than Ronaldo is for United.
Yeah, the bombshell nature of it would have been really bad timing for a manager that was struggling. So a power play like that there, me or the manager, I would just really be very, very concerned about that, being able to spill the beans like that in front of probably a few Yorkshire-based journalists and maybe a few Merseyside-based journalists. I do think. No, I'm not going to name names. I don't recall hearing anybody's name or anybody's voice actually in the crowd. It was just pure Mo Salah monologue about what's going on. And yeah, look, a lot of people are suggesting a Mo Salah goodbye tomorrow. I just wonder, is he going and having a chat with Jordan Henderson earlier on today? Is he just doing his due diligence about maybe Saudi's not all it's cracked up to be? There's Karim Benzema that's running his contract down. There's Darwin Núñez that's all of a sudden not loving life in Al Hilal and knowing he's got plenty of interest back in Europe. Maybe Saudi wouldn't just be the warm blanket that's been made up to be, and Mo who sticks up a Christmas tree every year mightn't just love the over
Sharia,
Saudi
the Sharia version of his religion.
Yeah. So
the only thing I'll say with regards to that, if it's not Saudi, right? Where, if he was to go, it's Saudi, maybe the States, maybe, or it's maybe Italy, but there's no club in Italy that can afford him.
The Qataris at PSG.
They've went for a different. They have Dembele and Kvaratskhelia, and they have Desiree Doué.
We like Bradley Barcola, so that would be a deal that would be worth tabling.
Amenable, yeah. But I just feel this is why I said reeks of Ronaldo, because
I don't like the Ronaldo comparison. I don't like it because it's not like, I'll give you an example. It's not like Mo had years and years of Jurgen Klopp and then left in his prime, went to the big club in Spain, went to the big club in Italy, and then came back, and it's the successor. It's not, it's ex-players in charge, and all of a sudden he doesn't have the same respect. That's where I don't like the Ronaldo one, because
I'll counter
Ronaldo's
that.
always been the prima donna. Mo historically has spoken out maybe 3 times, and it's contract time and now.
Yeah. But again, he only speaks out when it's for himself. He never. So
Yeah,
If you
well,
look
so
at them,
that's where I would sort of have a wee bit of allegiance to the player there. That's where I sort of fall in Salah's side, where yeah,
but
you and your agent aren't getting the message through to management, to ownership. You voice it out publicly.
yeah, but my point's more so this, right? I get what you're saying, but my point is when Liverpool lose and like didn't experience much of that last season, right? When Liverpool lose, who comes out and speaks to the media from a player perspective?
The
Used to be
captain
Jordan.
does.
Used to be Jordan Henderson,
The captain does. Van Dijk's doing a lot of that this time
Van
around. Yeah,
Dijk, but also the likes of Andy Robertson comes out and speaks.
vice captain.
It doesn't matter.
He's the vice captain, so sometimes he's like,
But
you know,
Salah should be coming out there as a main player for the club. Same way that Harry
What's
Maguire speaks
So
to the
Bot's like
media.
putting himself in front of camera as well, so you have a point. Yeah, Salah's been there 7-8 years. Yeah,
Yeah,
he should be putting
7,
himself.
8 years, club legend, 250 goals for the club.
He tweets plenty.
It's not the same.
He tweets plenty when
No, but it's not the same
the
as
performance hasn't been
in the
good.
heat of the moment after the match, coming out and speaking. That's my point.
Hmm.
So tweeting is managed by. It's probably not Salah himself tweeting.
Well,
It's
look,
probably a social media management agency that's tweeting for him.
Charlie, that should tell you a lot when you put the whole puzzle piece together. Why he's not wearing the armband at all.
Oh, 100%.
Liverpool.
But
That yeah, he's not coming out for everybody. He is still team himself.
yeah, but
Okay?
in that then, Barry, if he's team himself and he is saying to the world media, I'm been thrown under the bus, been made a scapegoat, not happy with the manager, no relationship. He hasn't, in my eyes, hasn't a leg to stand on, because if he was the club legend, if he was this version of a player, and like, don't get me wrong, he's one of the best players to ever grace the Premier League. But until Liverpool took them under his wing, until he got in with Klopp and then in with Slot, he was the guy who failed to Chelsea. Chelsea were happy enough to buy him off Basel, sold him after 12 months to Roma, loaned him out and then sold him. He came in well scouted, has had great career at Liverpool. First sign of trouble from his place being in the team, he throws the toys out of the pram. His place in the team has never been under threat in 8 years until now. It's a complete prima donna. You're on about Ronaldo being a prima donna. Ronaldo, the first time Ronaldo's place was threatened as a centre forward in any team, he threw the toys out of the pram. That's why I make the comparison.
Ronaldo was always his best as a winger. So
Well,
before Mo Salah, most Premier League goals by an African, Drogba, 99. Most PL assists by an African, Drogba, 54. Most PL goals by a winger, Giggs, 108. Most left-footed goals, Robbie Fowler, 105. Most goals and assists in 38 games season, Henry, 44. Most goals in 38 game season, multiple, with 31. Most opening day goals, multiple, with 8. Most goals and assists versus Manchester United, Shearer, 14. Most games with a goal plus an assist, Rooney, 36. The list goes on further still. After Mo Salah, most goals by an African, Mo Salah, 189. Most PL assists by an African, Salah, 89. Most PL goals by a winger, Salah, 190. Most left-footed goals in the Premier League, Salah, 152. Most goals and assists in a 38-game season, Salah, 47. Most goals in a 38-game season, Salah, 32. Most opening day goals, Salah, 10. Most goals and assists versus Manchester United, Salah, 19. Most games with a goal and an assist, Salah, 42. The list goes on further still.
Yeah. Okay.
The impact that this player has made his position uncompetable. So many a player has come in on that side of the pitch and not got a look in because he's
going to play second fiddle to Mo Salah?
He's absolutely infallible, invincible, and the only time he misses games is during AFCON and concussion.
Yeah.
So take that reasoning out there. His position under threat. There's still not a legitimate right wing.
No, of course.
In the Liverpool squad.
But
so
can I caveat them points you made there?
Caveat away.
The majority of them goals up until maybe 2 seasons ago were with Trent Alexander-Arnold as right back and Jordan Henderson on that side of midfield. And if it wasn't Jordan Henderson, it was Gini Wijnaldum. And then Fabinho was covering something in front of the back four. Right? Yeah, 100%. His output has been crazy. But the full team was built around him. Even Bobby Firmino dropped back into the midfield. Bobby Firmino didn't have the numbers for goals and assists or goals because Salah done the scoring.
Was Sadio Mane playing for Mo Salah?
No, but who left?
That 2020 season, the 2021 season, I'll never forget that for the decline of one of them. So one of them has maintained their standard and put in an all-time.
Oh yeah,
last season.
So it's more my point is, Barry, when Salah's been at his absolute best, it's been in a team that's been built around him. Right? Agree? To a point.
You can build around him because he's always there.
Yeah, fair enough, right? But my thing,
in many ways now, we have to sort of try and work things to get the best out of Isak. Who
this is what I'm leading on to.
Sort of has a rick to him.
So you have now bought £100 million attacking mid, £125 million centre forward, and a £68 million centre forward. You've also bought a £35 million right back, who's not really a right back, who's actually probably a cover for Salah. And you've bought a £50 million left back. Right? And every one of them players that you've bought are very forward-thinking players. They're attacking players. Right? And my argument is Salah doesn't fit into Liverpool's best 11 going forward now. And he is now realising that, and he throws the toys out of the pram as a result of that. Because he doesn't have Trent at right back that's able to free him up the wing. He doesn't have the protection from the midfielder because Szoboszlai, whilst Szoboszlai is very good, he's not the same protection on the right side because he's forward thinking.
Do you think, I'll just interject there, do you think he's earned the right to have that role? You know, this first half of the season aside, do you think he earned the right to have that role?
I think it's a very dangerous precedent, regardless of the player, to have one player bigger than the club.
That's not at all putting anybody's position above the crest. I'm just saying, in
But
every team,
Salah is putting himself above the crest now.
no, like in every team, there's a decision made. We'll just leave
Oh,
Jamie. We'll just leave Jamie Vardy high up the pitch.
yeah.
We'll go with that.
Mm-hmm.
But Jamie Vardy just has to like sit
on the shoulder of the last offender.
Center circle and
Yeah.
and monitor the center halves. You know, there's always throughout every setup ever, you've had to manage the level of risk about who you can afford to leave up the pitch and who you can afford to sort of take them out of the defensive.
Yeah,
layer.
the defensive phases. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So I don't think when you allowed him that.
No, previously I would agree with you that.
I think if anything, when you allow him to do that, and he produces the way he did, that's a gamble that works. But maybe when you get a constant rotation of right back and constant rotation of right-sided midfielder, that role is sort of diminished, where you're not getting it. Yes, the Trent thing works there, but Trent's head was not in the game for a lot of last season.
Yeah.
And Mo had the season he had. And Jordan Henderson wasn't there last year. He's not been there for a while.
No. I'm speaking more holistically over the.
And he had the season he had. So, irrespective of who's there, Mo's generally very good as long as it's settled. I'm sure that's with any team. Who exactly can you say when things are just a wee bit out of sync and players' roles are adjusted where they're not where they're supposed to be on the pitch? All of a sudden, the whole thing starts to fall a bit. So it's like all it ever was a huge balancing act and a huge gamble, and it paid off massively last year.
Yeah. Oh, no, I'm not disagreeing with you in that point. You're 100% right. But he also had a striker that when he was fit last year, God rest him, was Jota. Jota would play for the team. Jota was the best finisher Liverpool had, but he would also play for the team. Do you know?
I think the favoured starting three last season for the majority of the games was Diaz, number 9, and Gakpo left wing.
Yeah,
it's funny you say that. It's funny you say that. Arne Slot had his favoured front three, and still me in the Darwin Núñez camp. Always wanted to see him.
He didn't fancy Núñez at all.
He had landed on that Diaz up top and Gakpo off the left. And I think that's what made him. That's what created this need for a number 9. So that's where we ended up going. Isaac was the one of choice.
So can I ask you a question then, based on that? In all the years that Salah's been there, have you ever had a traditional number 9?
In all the years that Salah's been
there.
So when he gets there, Sturridge is still at the club, but he's not playing much. and you had the Fab Four, and Firmino was signed as a number 10, and
He played kind
Klopp,
of as a nine.
Klopp
He
sort
played
of
as a kind of nine and a
Klopp sort of
half.
found this false nine
Yeah.
role for him,
Yeah.
and that sort of began with the signing of Mane off the left, and then you had likes of Lallana and Chamberlain off the right. And then later on Salah joins the party. So no, we've never had the true number 9 till
I think that's partly the problem.
gets there. Huh?
I think that's partly the problem for Salah.
Also, like never having that presence.
He's never had to work with somebody else in that space. That space has always been free for him to go into.
Yeah, so it would be sort of expected over his career, that player in that role would have been a lot busier than what it is now.
Yeah. Whereas Isaac will be more static because he's playing him the last man. Do you know?
Yeah, so that's why
He's
that's why Kerkez is in this backed off role, and you have no real Connor Bradley started to do more traditional stuff recently with the fitness improving. You know, they've had to do this sort of standoffishness where the lines are so far apart.
Yeah.
And this, in this period of time.
What's happened is, in my eyes, like Salah, I don't agree with him speaking to the media like that. Let's put that out there, right?
Ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous the way he done it, and it does. In the short term, at least, it tarnishes his reputation at Liverpool. Longer term, that'll be forgotten about because he's just his output. The numbers you mentioned are just so big, so huge. But Liverpool tried this summer for succession planning for Mo Salah. That's what you were doing. Maybe not in actual physical terms of replacing Mo Salah, but to take that everything doesn't run through Mo Salah.
Yeah, the lion's share of the goal getting was going to be moved off.
Yeah, that everything doesn't run through him. But what's happening is, and what some Liverpool fans are saying, or for what some people are saying, when you take away that focus that Salah had that you built through him, sometimes then his output's not that good. And sometimes his decision making's not that good because he's further away from goal. And then he's legitimately saying, or people are saying, well, he should be dropped. Then you drop him and he's like, oh my God, I was dropped. But my output's been great. Well, I'm being thrown under the bus. You can not see where he's coming from, but you can see what leads up to it. Now, the way he handled it, as we've said, was atrocious. But it's not that he's been thrown under the bus, and it's not that he's a victim, because he's not. But I do think he is a victim of trying to incorporate Wirtz and Isaac into that team. And that's where maybe he is a victim. Because he's been used to everything going through him. You've never really played with a number 10 either. You've played with 2 8s and a 6. Really? To have a bona fide number 10 now, a bona fide number 9, they're 2 players in 2 positions and players in a position on the pitch where he done the most of his good work. So now you're asking Salah to sit out wide more and be a winger. And that's not what he is either. So that's a problem.
So my great concern with Salah is when these dry patches occur, it is sort of he really bangs his head against the wall and doubles down on that staying out wide. I would like him when things start quiet, sort of get to the middle of the pitch, sort of open up that right flank for Szoboszlai and Bradley and G.
Oh,
Gomez.
Wirtz. Him and Wirtz could switch between them.
They could, and very effectively. Salah in the middle of the pitch is actually excellent when given a chance. Like the goal at Brentford, middle of the pitch.
Yeah.
And yeah, I will emphasize the point. Yeah, the timing of it is atrocious. Left out for a week. He would really just be in the best advice, bite his tongue for a week, and he's off.
Bite his tongue to
He's off
his
to get his passport stamped and spent in Durham. And we would be none the wiser. And he could have been on the blower. He could have been on the blower to Arne Slot or to Virgil van Dijk or whoever. Like, what am I coming back to, fellas? Like, I've had a good AFCON. I'm golden boot, and Egypt got to the semi-finals. Unluckily lost. I'm fifth penalty taker. Didn't get a chance to take my penalty. Whatever happens, that's don't call me Nostradamus whenever that happens. But it would have been nice. Yeah, look, I always just calm. Everybody having cool heads. One directive. Keep the ship going straight forward. Avoid the icebergs. The season really gets going from here. I keep emphasizing that point. And it's on to Brighton next. Festive period. I agree with Slot in his statement today. I couldn't give two hoots about any League Cup. I have so many of them. And I've been in that many finals recently. I agree. I don't need that tournament, especially when I lost Leone in the competition. I certainly don't need it. Yeah. And let them play on. I'm looking forward to Emirates FA Cup when Barnsley comes to town on a Monday Night Football. That'll be great. I'll get a 90 minutes of Rio and Gamoa for the crack, and Trey Ignoni, and this centre half that they're going to have to turn to Lucky. So, you know what I mean? I need cool heads to prevail. Like I hope with the game tomorrow, Salah does a bit of like a see you later, genuine appreciation from the crowd.
Does he start?
This is it depends. Isaac is a knock, and Gakpo is not 100% yet. So
he might start then. Yeah,
it's hard to envisage a team. Without two attackers already and not have Mo Salah.
Yeah.
So
that'd be a huge statement, actually. If he doesn't start.
I would say Hugo Ekitike up front, Wirtz off the left, Mo off the right, and Jones, Subats, and Gravenberch after man of the match in San Siro.
Oh, back to your point about a smash and grab in the San Siro. There's no bad 1-0 away in the San Siro.
Like, talk to me. Did you see the disallowed goal?
No, I didn't.
No. Quite disappointed, but yeah, if you see use of the hand at all and it leads to a goal, what can you do? But Jesus, Van Dijk heads it and Ekitiki's arms is there, on top of an Interman's shoulder, bounces off his hand, and ricochets up into the air, and Konate wins his header, heads into the goal. There's a little bit of incidental handball, which you can sort of overlook, and Clattenburg says that's probably given in England, and it's meant to be the same rules.
Europe's different.
But anyway, that's that incident. It's the penalty then that sort of has left the Italians a bit salty. I mean, have you seen it?
Yeah, I did say it was soft, like, but
You see, I love that soft. So good
still
old
foul.
yank, good old yank on the jersey. So soft certainly doesn't mean isn't.
No.
Soft is in the realms of seeing them given,
Right.
seeing them given. Foul everyone else on the pitch, all that there. No, he gives the jersey a good yank, and that's it.
Yeah.
As soon as they see that, you're cooked, Bastoni.
Oh, aye.
You can't do that.
But for me now, and for Liverpool this season need to get top 8 in the Champions League.
Do you know what's wild, Charlie? This is absolutely wild. So they've shipped 4 at home to PSV and 3 to Nottingham at home and 3 at Elland Road, and they've kept out Real Madrid, Arsenal, and Inter Milan.
Yeah. I watched the Leeds match, and I watched a bit of the Sunderland match, and Canary was massively at fault in the Leeds match, massively. Van Dijk was massively at fault in the Sunderland match. Like,
what's he massively at fault for, please?
Because he swipes at the ball and it goes to the Sunderland player, and then the Sunderland player gears up to shoot and he turns his back on him, and the ball ricochets off Van Dijk, then it goes into the goal.
It's a miss kick and it's an unfortunate deflection.
He shouldn't be turning his back.
It's a fairly low percentage chance, and I've said before, Van Dijk is more than comfortable with deferring to Alisson, so he doesn't have to risk doing a hammy, throwing himself at shots.
No,
yeah,
but
he sticks his bum at it.
But what I would say is, I think he's lost a step. I think.
What age is he?
He's 30. He's 34, is he?
Genuinely, are you shocked that he's lost a step?
No.
Ever present.
Don't get me wrong.
He's never present unless he's done his ACL.
Yeah, but I don't mean. But he has lost a step, number one, right? And Gravenberg's not. If Gravenberg's a sitting midfielder, there's no protection for him now. That's what's happening.
No, a couple things there. Gravenberg is quite good as a sitting midfielder. It's McAllister that's coming in and not having the same legs. That's been the issue.
Yeah.
So when Jones comes on the pitch, there's an instant lift because all of a sudden that's genuine fresh legs.
He's the energy.
McAllister has tangibly lost a yard this season. So I hugely resent any criticism at Van Dijk, who really is holding his level quite high. And it's Konate in a contract year that's letting
big time.
And I would think he would want to settle down and get something sorted, because
is he doing a Trent?
No, look, he would want to settle down and get something sorted before he realizes life doesn't get much better than where he's at the minute, and he might have Mark Gahey in a month's time to compete with, and he might have Slaughterbeck in the summer.
He should only look at Trent.
He need only look at the downfall, and there's people at Real Madrid sort of talking about how much Jurgen Klopp and the club ran Trent into the ground from a young age. Fair statement.
Fair statement number one. Yeah. Also knew how to get the best out of him. I come back to this statement about Trent.
They also say only his right foot has proven to be value for money so far.
It's a valid statement.
That's a valid statement as well.
But my thing would be, right, And it comes back to what I said to you. And I remember, and you'll remember as well, when Jordan Henderson was signed, people really raised their eyebrows at Liverpool spending that amount of money on Jordan Henderson. And then for the first couple of seasons, and I'm not saying you, I'm saying people in general. And then first couple of seasons, he did underwhelm him, and you nearly did sell him. But Jordan Henderson,
that's why it's hugely valuable that Mo has a chat with him.
Yeah, 100%.
Because he wasn't nearly out the door. I think
yeah.
you can talk to boys that's already gone, but Jordan Henderson was very nearly forced out the door as well.
So 100%.
Very good resource.
And then he turned it around and was a fantastic captain. Really, really stood the club well, represented the club well, and done an awful lot of work on that right side of the centre midfield. And he enabled players that maybe were more technical than him to really thrive. And he's part of the reason why Trent thrived, in my opinion. And then you've also, if you have a good centre half beside Trent will thrive. It's only when Trent was always, say at the time, Rashford skinned him a couple of times. And they had a really bad couple of games against United. But it's hard to know. It's hard to know about Trent, but I do get the point that he was in, 18? Was he 18?
He was 18 when he was getting skinned by Rashford.
Do you know, he's played a lot of football and he's picking up hamstring injuries now, which is not a good sign.
Not at 26.
No.
The way you're talking there, Charlie, football's easy. Football is easy. Get a good technical hard runner on your right side of midfield and get a good young athletic up and down, technically very good right back, and you've got the combination for a league and European dominating right side of the pitch.
But if it was that easy,
football's dead easy, isn't it?
If that was that easy, right, I wouldn't be sitting and play Football Manager. I would be actually a football manager.
Jordan Henderson and Trent Alexander-Arnold are part of a team
I think that
103 points out of a possible 105.
Yeah. That right side at Liverpool was just unreal. But so was the left side. That's the difference.
Robbo, Gini, Mo.
Yeah.
Man. Robbie, Gini, Sadio.
And then you had Van Dijk and Fabinho and Van Dijk, Fabinho.
It was this.
Fabinho. It was just a really, really good team. And last year, Liverpool were they still a Klopp team?
Aye, they were. Yeah. Aye, they were. Yeah, they were.
And Slot managed to get the best out of them and managed to kind of hold their hand over the line to win the league. And they won a league that kind of nobody else really threatened.
Couple of things, Charlie.
Yes.
How important was John Heidegger to the thing?
In what sense?
So he's the assistant and he's the real hands-on in training last season, and he gets the role at Ajax and heads off, and we replace him with Gio van Bronckhorst, and we know all about him.
Yeah.
So we will certainly learn something there. So how pivotal was John Heidegger to Arne Slot's?
I don't think anybody realizes how important assistant managers and assistant coaches are. Like, to kind of deviate away from your question, but to give you an example at the same time, right? Why was Fergie so successful?
Oh, he always found one.
But he kept changing them as well.
McLaren, Phelan,
Queiroz.
No, what do you call the other one? The South African name?
Carlos Queiroz.
No, the South African name.
René Mullenstein.
Mullenstein. He's always found one.
But that's what I'm saying. But he kept refreshing it.
Yeah,
But he managed to refresh it with ones that fitted in
that's
with what he wanted to do.
that's why. Look, he was the arch manager, and it was then this guy that he was bringing in to keep freshening up the training methods.
He was a coach. Fergie was never a coach. In a coach's sense. I'm sure he coached, but
So we had Jurgen, who was a manager.
oh
And
yeah.
now we've gone to Arne Slot, who's a coach. So there's players now that's there that are coachable. Absolutely.
Oh yeah,
And
100%.
it's just, when the Klopp method has sort of faded now out of the minds, and it's all pure Arne Slot now. Is there just shortcomings in it? So
Possibly.
I'll pose another question to you now. I think we are days, if not a fortnight, away from Xabi Alonso getting his marching orders.
I agreed.
And if he wants to take a month sabbatical, all well and good. End of January comes, and the scouting and the transfer side of things, which is not anything to do with Arne Slot. It's the squad building is Richard Hughes. And if he decides I'm going to get Mark Gahey at a price now in January, and look, I've done Kerkez, who on paper he's a pretty good Grimaldo. He's a pretty good Grimaldo remake. And sure, I've already got Frimpong, who was there.
A good Frimpong remake.
and I've already signed Wirtz, who was his talisman. And look, there's plenty of Granit Xhakas in the team already. And there's
Alexander Isak rather than Patrick Schick.
There's a couple of guys that's quite considerably better than Patrick Schick.
Yeah.
Would this have all been in the view that they were going to try and poach Xabi Alonso from under the nose of Real Madrid? And just the way the stars are aligning at the minute, so Liverpool started to underperform, and questions about the coach and his ability to fix the thing have started to arise in my mind. And when we've seen before what a coach can do when he's already got exposure to the culture of the club. Case in point, Martin O'Neill. If if you don't act now, Xabi Alonso takes the job and he's gone for 6, 7, 8 years, and who knows what happens?
What job?
Huh?
What job? Like
Any.
Xabi Alonso very well get sacked by the time the Spanish Super Cup comes around.
So Xabi Alonso could very well be sacked by Christmas, and he would almost certainly take a month sabbatical.
I don't see Liverpool.
Maybe no big job comes up between now and the summer, but there's a queue of clubs that comes knocking on Xabi Alonso's door. Rest assured of that.
Yeah.
And if he takes one, if he takes AC Milan, bang, he's gone 5, 6, 7 years, and we've missed the boat. What are we looking at? We're looking at a Steven Gerrard interim. That could be horrible. That could be a horrible existence to be in. I just think the way the stars are aligning now, it's a real distinct
opportunity. It's a bit like the same time when you sacked Rodgers for Klopp.
Yeah, so enough time had elapsed for Jurgen to be refreshed, and he was willing to come in.
So
yeah, that was time.
That was timing. But
Dortmund had their poor season, and then were prepared to
The
part
Klopp
ways,
walked. Yeah, Klopp walked.
and they were going to give the job to the Tush. Jurgen went in a sabbatical. They would have talked to him and said, "No, look, I need a break." So they persisted with Brendan for a while, and they called a halt after the derby, and that was it for Brendan. So I'm putting it to you now. So I think they'll get past Alaves. I think they'll get past Sevilla, but then I think they have a wild, sticky one in Europe. If that doesn't end up well,
The thing is, right?
I'm gone.
It doesn't matter about the results. If the likes of Asinius is going to continue to be unhappy and not going to sign a contract,
Vinicius is going to be allowed to walk. He's going to be allowed to be sold if he doesn't sign the deal. So he's not the loudest voice. The loudest voice seems to be Jude Bellingham. And he could be a bit of a poison chalice that, boy, I'm glad we've managed to swerve. Because obviously he's already dragged Trent. He's already dragged Trent out of my club. I think he's probably driven Luka Modric out of the club, to be honest.
He is a massive ego.
He's possibly driving Camavinga out of the club as well.
Look what Tuchel done with him.
Yeah, everyone's going to be a bit carried away with that.
He still didn't call him up and he immediately, like, at least he did show him.
I think everyone's going to be a bit carried away with that. We've got good players in that position as well. Rice, Cole Palmer.
Cole Palmer, Rogers.
Walton, Anderson. Yeah.
Anderson. They're not short of good.
They're all of a sudden playing in the middle of the pitch.
Yeah.
So nobody's screaming Jude Bellingham.
Will we take the last couple of minutes in Celtic?
We have to. We have to, Charlie. Not crucifying anybody just yet, but I'm just worried that getting turned over 3-0 at home in Europe, it wouldn't have happened to Martin.
Possibly not. Can't say that in hindsight because they got turned over by Midtjylland themselves. So, like, Celtic got turned, like, they lost Midtjylland under O'Neill, right? So
Midtjylland were excellent, and that was.
Oh no, I'm not saying that. Like,
second game in. Was it the second game in? It was the first one.
Second or third? What was there? I can't remember.
And it's early days, so no, Midtjylland are flying. No,
I just think
not having that.
I did say to you before we come on that from listening to the couple of like, you can't judge a guy in 2 games, you can't judge a guy in 10 games, right?
No.
He definitely doesn't have the squad there. He doesn't have the strikers. He doesn't have the squad there anyway. But the one concern I would have, that's time to go, Barry. That's what's telling you there. Your lights are off. Time to go. But what I would say is, in my opinion, the fact that he's come in and immediately ripped up the playbook, middle of the season, 2 days to train them. Right, guys, we're going 3 at the back. 2 wing backs. Now, he does have the players for wing back. Oh, yeah. He does have the centre halves.
Mm-hmm.
Does have the midfielders. Still doesn't have the striker, right?
No.
But I don't get the theory. I don't get why you would do that. I don't get why he wouldn't say try to phase that in over a couple of months, or even get through to the end of the season, just make a judgment on the players he has in a 4-2-3-1, whatever they were playing. Then the end of saying, look, we're changing the philosophy of the club. We're going 3 at the back, so I want to buy players to suit that formation. And everybody will be behind him. But the way he's done it now, losing to Hearts at home, was probably a worse result actually than Roma, right? Roma's a good team. They've good pedigree. They've good players. They've also a very good manager at the minute. They're sitting at the top of Serie A. To lose to Roma is not the end of the world. To have clawed back 8 points against Hearts.
Is it Conceição?
No, it's guy who was managing Atlanta.
Ah, love him.
Gasperini.
Gasperini.
So I do have a good manager. And they're sitting like fourth in Serie A. They were top there until lost to Napoli. They losing to Rome is not the end of the world. Losing at home to Hearts after clawing 8 points back just to give 3 of them back to them again is worse. To be going in now needing to win the League Cup against St. Mirren just to win a game is concerning.
Yeah.
And you're looking at him, and if he doesn't win against St. Mirren on Sunday, pressure's huge. Because the fans are already hating the board. They're already stopping AGMs and EGMs because of fan unrest. They're going to be like, where did you pull this guy out of? And that's the concern from my point. It's not the manager himself, but he wasn't pragmatic about it at all.
Yeah, well, sadly, it's not been the rip-roaring start for Wilfred Nancy, but it's 2 games and not going to get it all carried away.
Not at all.
Any worrying signs as well, they're sort of mute, because he will fast learn the culture in Glasgow and he'll know the do's and don'ts, and certainly don't be pulling out the tic-tac board in future. Getting roundly criticised on the British Isles there. So, yeah, much work to do for Celtic. They've mountain to climb. They are doing their best to hand the league to someone else outside of Glasgow for the crack. And it's a stranglehold. We just don't want to give up just yet.
I just feel that Martin O'Neill came in and he built up so much goodwill and was beginning to repair some of the rifts that were there. Me personally, would have given it to Martin O'Neill to end the season and let him see out the season. Whatever would happen, don't know. And then bring your new manager in with his new playing style and I joked with you before we come on, as the Amarim in disguise. Are we going to get a 6 months at Celtic, like the 6 months we got last season with United? And him trying to implement a style and not having the players there to do it. It just depends how wedded Wilfred Nancy is to style. Like Ruben Amorim, it clearly is.
If it's the slow death for the final 7 months or so of the season, like, that'll be pretty grim.
Yeah,
I barely get in front of a Celtic match as it is, but no, grim if we're at a state where like we're already
writing the season off,
conceding. Yeah. So
I hope I'm wrong, but I'm just saying.
I certainly still, I'd be reluctant to give up the excitement of, what I've seen. I do take the hard evidence where he's done well in the CONCACAF version of the Champions League. So that's a tough old thing to break into if you've not got,
especially if you broke into it from the States
and Luis Suarez kicking balls for you.
Yeah, 100%.
So, Charlie, at that juncture there, we'll leave it there. That's
perfect.
That's the miserable end that I was really hoping for. Yeah.
Thank you very much for having me on. It's a pleasure.
Charlie, it's been delightful to have you back on. To have the two of us, nice wee change, nice wee dynamic. The three eggs we had for the last time would have been cool to have again. But
maybe next time.
Maybe next time, as I say.
Yeah.
Find it very difficult to coalesce with the original occupier of the seat at the minute, but like that's unfortunately the time of year it is. It's
yes.
A busy old time. I couldn't say for sure. I couldn't really nail down, other than probably Saturday week for the next show. Again, there'll be a lot of football played between now and then, and
plenty to talk about.
Hope for the best, and we're going to be talking AFCON very shortly as well.
Yes.
So, Charlie, any final words there to sign us off with? I'm heading on a Christmas party tomorrow night, so we'll give you a bit of juice to fuel my fire.
Well, I'll just say that it's been a pleasure being on as always. It's very good fun. And I did push you on Salah, and you answered them very well. And with regards to your Christmas party, have a blast. And be sensible as always.
Get home safe.
Yes.
Get home safe as a sentiment.
Thank you so much, Barry. Take care.
And thank you, Charlie. And to the rest of you, take care. Plenty of guards on the road. Cut out that drink driving.